Hello and welcome to PlayStation Grenade. Today we are going back to the brilliance of video game voice acting and looking at those guys who bring your favourite characters to life. If you ever hear a voice in a video game and think, where have I heard them before? Then this is the series for you. Today it's The Last of Us Part 2, a polarising story which has divided the entire community. I mean, it's never going to be easy to follow the excellence of Part 1. Luckily, many great actors have returned to reprise their roles, and some very well-known actors have come in to represent the new characters. So let's do this. Where else could we start but with The Last of Us Part 2's protagonist, Ellie. The new game sees her step into the spotlight, leading a deeply personal story of vengeance. Ellie is 5 years older this time, but there is still no one better to voice her than the wonderful Ashley Johnson.
I'm gonna find, and I'm gonna kill every last one of them. It's exciting to me, and I think they sort of figured out a perfect balance of how Ellie would fight and being her size, and she's extremely capable.
While The Last of Us was many people's first introduction to Ashley's acting ability, she's actually had an incredible start to her career as a child actor. Back in her teenage years, Ashley's voice sounded a little bit different, and it was quite unique, so that made her a perfect candidate for a wide range of roles. Any fans of Disney here and the classic show Recess? Well, did you know she plays Gretchen Grundler?
Actually, there is a statistical chance we could win. I mean, the Ashleys are just kids like us, right?
She's been in the movies too. Back in 2000, she appeared in the Golden Globe nominated rom-com What Women Want, having the pleasure of working with talented, world-renowned crazy person Mel Gibson, in a movie in which he could hear the thoughts of every female person, even his own daughter.
I said, I'm sorry, Cameron. You know, I'm just not ready.
Good girl.
Come on.
I'm sorry, go on.
Ugh, that can't be pleasant. Another role of note, back in the 1990s, Ashley played Chrissy in the TV show Growing Pains, alongside future Hollywood behemoths like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Wait, Daddy, can't Luke stay with us forever?
Who'd want that? Besides, you got a full house already. And if I didn't have a place of my own, how would you come visit me, huh?
Given that Ashley went on to win 2 BAFTAs for her role as Ellie, you would have thought her career had flourished since 2013. In truth, she stayed pretty close to her roots, picking and choosing her roles over the years. Most of her energy has gone into furthering her voice acting career, enjoying stints on shows like Ben 10 Omniverse, Teen Titans Go, and the recent Cartoon Network show Infinity Train.
Numbers are quantitative. They represent things. But this one just sits there like a dumb number, getting dumber every minute that it sits there, because it's dumb.
While the game industry hasn't thrown her roles with the same gravitas as Ellie, she hasn't been a stranger here. Remember the awesome standalone game in the infamous series called First Light? Well, Ashley stepped in to play a character named Jenny, alongside the game's other leads, played by Troy Baker and Laura Bailey. If they don't sound familiar now, those names will very soon.
I'm dumping a program onto your phone. You see the wireless video app? Try it.
Ashley has also worked closely with Telltale Games on projects like Tales from the Borderlands and Minecraft Story Mode.
If you need anything, you know where to find me.
None of us know where to find you.
Exactly.
And flexed her superhero muscle as Spider-Gwen in the late MMORPG Marvel Heroes, which was shut down in 2017. Rip the dream. Oh, and here's an awesome little reference you might have missed. Back in 2016, Ashley reprised her role as Beth the waitress in Lego Marvel's Avengers.
A bunch of our regulars were happily sipping their mochachinos when it all went down, and I haven't seen them since.
That's right, the tiny little cameo she had in the original movie is now a completely playable and thought out character 4 years later. All thanks to Lego. Okay, so let's move on to another playable character in The Last of Us Part 2, Joel, the gruff but lovable anti-hero of the first game. Returning to the fray once again, of course, is the voice actor who can do anything, Troy Baker.
Maybe I was starting to buy into that old cure business. Maybe I just wanted to do right by her.
I was a musician and I was recording at the studio, and they happened to be looking for people doing commercials. So I did car commercials and just kind of tripped, the Sunday. and I just kind of tripped backwards into it and been stumbling ever since.
Where do I start with the career of Troy Baker? His voice work is in such high demand that at one point he was in every single video game you could buy. It became a running joke. The funny part is, it was kind of true. While Troy has been the mainstay in video games for many years now, you could argue he's the industry's go-to leading man, because alongside Joel, he's also played Booker DeWitt, the protagonist of BioShock Infinite.
My name is DeWitt. I'm a friend. I come to get you out of here.
Get away!
Troy took over from Mark Hamill's role as the Joker in Batman Arkham Origins.
Well, technically it's my operation now. Isn't that right, boys?
And sliced his way through Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor as Talion.
Easy, son. You're not a soldier yet.
Then, of course, we arrive at infamous Second Son and its follow-up First Light, in which Troy picked up the leading role, and they used his likeness too. Now mocap is an industry standard. This happens more regularly these days.
We got him, right? I, flushed that mean old conduit for you.
Anyway, there's more. Ready for this? He's played the good guy in a Call of Duty game, the bad guy in a Far Cry game, Nathan Drake's brother Sam, Snake's gun-spinning comrade Revolver Ocelot, the President of the United States. He has done it all.
Hail to the mother chief.
Oh, and did I mention? This was all in a 3-year span. He must have never slept. He's been in a ton of DC comic properties, voicing the Dark Knight himself, as well as Two-Face, Sinestro, Brainiac, Hawkman. To be honest, this guy could do every voice of every character ever, if I'm completely honest.
Everything I built. I created all of this because I didn't want any more innocent people to die.
Troy is so prolific as an actor and so talented as a man, it's no surprise that in future there's more of him coming. Troy will be playing Bruce Banner in Marvel's Avengers, which is coming later in 2020, and recently he popped up as Agent Jonesy in Fortnite. I'll link his debut appearance now. That role could go for years.
Wait. Can you hear me?
It looks like the Troy Baker show isn't coming to an end anytime soon, and to be honest, I don't think I ever want it to. Okay, enough beating around the bush. There's a new character in The Last of Us Part 2. Abby was shown to us back in 2017, but we never knew how important to the story this 6-foot She-Hulk, who could crush your heart with resting face from 2,000 meters. Yeah, I admit it, I'm not an Abby fan, but to be serious for a moment, her character and actions will definitely keep us talking for years. Abby is portrayed by Laura Bailey.
We can corner one of the patrols and get confirmation, and then, I don't know, maybe find a way to lure him out.
I enjoy when there's aspects about them that aren't predictable, you know? A lot of times, and it happens more with, I feel like villainous characters.
If you thought Troy Baker's resume was intimidating, you ain't seen nothing yet. Here's a crazy fact to kick this off. Laura's first credited voice acting role came back when she played Chi-Chi and Sarah in the original Funimation dub of Dragon Ball.
I was just wondering if you were ever gonna think about me again.
Laura has been a huge presence in the anime scene for years, sticking with Dragon Ball through GT and Kai. She was in Naruto, One Piece, Full Metal Alchemist, you name it, she's done it.
Such a shame. You are a perfect candidate.
Building up that reputation in anime over the years opened doors for Laura in the video game industry, particularly through Japanese companies. Square Enix roped her in for Final Fantasy XIII, Konami brought her on board for Silent Hill Shattered Memories, Capcom cast her as the English voice of Chun-Li for Street Fighter IV. Put simply, Laura Bailey was the bomb.
We have to do this. We have to keep running and running forever.
Laura and Troy have worked together many times, such as Resident Evil 6 and infamous Second Son and that standalone expansion, First Light.
I'd wake up with new powers. It was like my body decided to fight, but my mind just gave up.
In the last decade, Laura has been unavoidable. She's in everything, just like Troy. She played Lisa Jackson in Days Gone.
I brought some bounties to trade.
MJ in Marvel's Spider-Man.
I'm sorry, no, you're a scientist. A good one.
Nadine Ross in Uncharted.
You have something I want, and you're going to give it to me.
In the future, things look good too. She's back for the Square Enix Avengers game later this year, playing Black Widow, once again, alongside Troy Baker. It's a small world. Next up, let's take a closer look at another new character in the form of Ellie's potential love interest, Dina, played by Shannon Woodward.
Scale of 1 to 10. 1 being like absolute trash. How would you rate our kiss from last night.
I felt like I had like Stockholm syndrome. Even after the feed went, I was like, wait, am I allowed to say that I'm in the game still? And they were like, yes. I was like, but are you sure?
Shannon has been appearing in many TV movies over the years, landing the odd episode in other shows here and there. Shannon's career really took off in 2010, thanks to the show Raising Hope. The series ran for 5 years straight, and Shannon was there for every single episode, playing Sabrina.
Over the last few years, you have been more of a mother to me than my mother ever was.
The show might have been a huge hit, but Shannon didn't rest on her laurels and instead moved from one critically acclaimed project to another. If you've spent the last few minutes thinking, where do I know that face from? This is probably the answer. She played Elsie Hughes in HBO's hit show Westworld.
Every time, this guy makes it all the way back home.
You probably won't be surprised that Haley Gross, who co-wrote Part 2 with Neil Druckmann, used to be a writer on Westworld back in 2016. So I guess it's true what they say. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And everyone knows each other on this bloody game. I'm not jealous. You're jealous. Okay, Troy Baker. Check. Laura Bailey? Check. Next you'll be telling me that Ashley Burch is in this game too. Oh wait, she is. Right up there with Laura Bailey when it comes to the current crop of female voice actors in the industry, Ashley Burch plays another one of Abby's friends, named Mel.
What do you need? Ideally, a saw, sutures, clamps, antibiotics. But we're far from ideal right now.
I realized that one could be a voice actor at all because I was playing Metal Gear Solid, and at the time I didn't understand because it said Solid Snake and then David Hayter, and it's like, who's David Hayter? And I looked it up and realized, oh, this is the voice actor. He does this for a living.
Ashley made a name for herself with the hit web series Hey Ash, What You Playin', which she made with her brother Anthony. When he got hired as a writer on Borderlands 2, he managed to get her an audition for a character we all know and love so much, Tiny Tina.
The stalker thought 'twas all in fun. Goes the bandit.
This lazy-eyed explosive expert Tina was the perfect character to kickstart Ashley's career. She's gone on to play some huge characters ever since, including Miss Pauling in Team Fortress 2.
Scout, it's Pauling. Tell me you got the briefcase.
Yeah, sure.
Chloe Price in Life is Strange.
Don't give me the guilty face. At least pretend you're glad to see me.
Ray from Fortnite.
That bot's just been biding his time, waiting for his chance to take my job.
And Pavati from The Outer Worlds.
I could tend to your engine. I know my G-valves for my catalyzers, and I can keep your ship singing.
Oh, and did I mention she's also the voice of Aloy in Horizon Zero Dawn and the upcoming Horizon Forbidden West.
How nice of you to finally drop by.
That's right, let's blow your mind. Tiny Tina and Aloy are the same person. Voice acting is a funny old world, isn't it? Here's a character I simply had to include once I realised where I recognised his voice from. WLF leader Isaac is voiced by none other than Jeffrey Wright.
We could try another truce. But how long before some asshole on their side or our side unravels the whole thing?
What's interesting about the show is that there was this big reveal. But if you look back at the previous episodes, you'll see these breadcrumbs that are now more fluorescent, that were already there, but were just very subtle hints at where it was going.
Having recently appeared in the TV show Westworld, this piece of casting is probably another favour called in by Haley Gross. And boy, it was worth it. A Hollywood actor for almost his entire career, Jeffrey is recognisable for a number of different roles. Early on, he made a name for himself in films like Shaft, alongside Samuel L. Jackson.
You best sleep in that best.
Oh, there you go, Poppy. You're under arrest for assaulting an officer.
I have to do it. Who's the man? Shaft!
You're damn right.
And he was also in Ali, where he shared the screen with Will Smith himself. More recently though, Jeffrey's work has shifted towards the blockbuster end of the spectrum. He brought the character of BT to life in 3 separate Hunger Games movies.
There's always a flaw in the system.
Helped Jake Gyllenhaal through the simulation in Source Code.
Do you have any idea how many people would die if an explosion of that magnitude were to occur in the city? We're evacuating as we speak.
And became the Bond series' most recent take on Felix Leiter, appearing in Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and the upcoming No Time to Die.
Seems someone knows something I don't.
And as if Jeffrey's world domination didn't seem inevitable enough, he'll be playing Police Commissioner Jim Gordon in the upcoming DC reboot, The Batman. With that shiny guy from Twilight donning the suit of the Dark Knight. Yeah, that's weird to me too. An actor of this stature is an awesome coup for any video game, and testament to just how far video game storytelling has come. Okay, how about we turn our attention to someone who wasn't already best friends with half the cast? A vital linchpin of the original story, Joel's brother Tommy returns, and once again he's played by Jeffrey Pierce.
To have the guys that we would need to do this smart, we'd be leaving Jackson vulnerable.
Where games are at now, what you can capture, the detail and performance, story is as important as gameplay.
Jeffrey made his start working across a ridiculous variety of TV shows, playing everything from a hard-boiled detective to a flippin' Terminator in the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Catherine Weaver?
Sure.
His performances caught the eye of many video game companies, being snapped up by one of the biggest video game franchises of all time, Call of Duty. The lead roles were few and far between, but someone at Activision clearly wanted to keep him around. Jeffrey appeared in Modern Warfare 3, Ghosts, and Infinity War, before getting his biggest character in Call of Duty, World War II, playing Lieutenant Joseph Turner.
We're gonna split into 2 teams. Pearson, you'll head north over the bridge to reach the hill. I'll follow the river with a squad to guard your advance.
In fact, military shenanigans seem to be his go-to thing. This is what he does. He's appeared in Medal of Honor games too.
They're all right. They're all right. They missed their train. Lena?
He seems to stick to his TV roots though, nailing down roles in 2 different Emmy-nominated TV shows in the last 3 years, Castle Rock and the Amazon original show, Bosch.
Stay mindful, stay disciplined. On mission.
One of Ellie and Dina's closest allies and an important figure in their new home in Jackson is Jesse, a brand new character played by Stephen A. Chang.
Another big lecture about my patrols. Don't go here, don't go there. It's funny how involved it gets whenever you're scheduled to go out.
A suggestion.
I'm not sure.
Don't fix the robot. Fix the person.
His character spans a decade of various TV shows, miniseries, and the odd feature film too. While many projects play to smaller audiences, Stephen started to get in some higher profile productions in recent years, earning a small role in the blockbuster Captain Marvel.
They'll never let you fly.
Then in 2019, he made waves in a different way, joining the cast of the show Artificial, which aired live on Twitch of all places.
Come on, give your fans some love.
The show used Twitch's live chat function to allow the audience to interact with the show, earning it an Emmy for outstanding innovation in the process. Having already backed this up with appearances in shows such as Shameless and Hawaii 5-0. What was... Sorry. Stephen looks set to have a bright career in front of him, and is another piece of fine casting by the team at Naughty Dog. Next up, we have one of Abby's close friends and teammates, Owen, who is played by none other than Patrick Fugit. I think I said that wrong. Patrick Fugit. Sorry if it's wrong.
You're gonna get your ass over here, sit on the edge, or you can go down here on the kid seat and look at this view with me.
These guys were living and experiencing these missions and their lives on the very brink of life and death.
Okay, I admit the name doesn't ring a bell to me, but it might do to you. So here's some info. Patrick got his breakout role in the Oscar-winning film Almost Famous, alongside the likes of Kate Hudson and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I am really confused here. All these rules and all these sayings and nicknames.
Despite being only 18 years old at the time, Patrick has managed to sustain a career in major films ever since, playing notable roles in early 2000 hits Saved and Wrist Cutters.
I like you, Mary. I really do.
Most recently, you can see him appearing in critically acclaimed thriller Gone Girl, Ryan Gosling's Neil Armstrong biopic, First Man, and the Bourne series spin-off TV show, Treadstone.
Save American lives? Yes, sir. It's my duty. Good. Then have you made your decision? Will you do it, soldier?
Thankfully, amongst all this, he found time to be in The Last of Us Part 2, and crafted a pretty memorable character. So there we have it, the core actors you can find in The Last of Us Part 2. If this was useful and you enjoyed this, please think about giving us a like, it really helps. And I'll be in the comments to see what roles I missed. Or maybe just people complaining about the game. You do you. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade, it's been a pleasure. See you next time.